Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the fish room. My name is Travis and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the 300-gallon reef, doing a quick update, show you guys some of the corals, the fish, give you a closer look now that I've done a water change and cleaned the glass. You guys can see inside the tank a little bit better than a couple of the previous videos, so I want to give you guys a closer look at what's going on with the main display. On top of that, we're going to be looking at the two attached frag tanks. As you can see, the left Hyper Reef 150 is not working. It's actually one of the power supplies went out. I addressed that with Night Crew. They're taking care of it. We'll talk about all that here in a second. I'll also show you guys some of the frags and the frag tanks, because with this video, it's actually going to be the very first one announcing the 50% coral sale that I have going on. So long story short, any coral on the website, use the code America 50%. I'll put a link in the description as well as the comment section, and you'll get 50% off any coral that you see on the website. The majority of them are from the main display, but I do grow some colonies out here in the frag tank, and again we'll look at that here in a second. So how's the 300-gallon reef doing? Well, it's getting kind of full to the point where I'm having to actually get in there and cut quite often, especially these Monty caps. They're getting pretty close to the glass. I went in here this morning and knocked off a pretty big chunk of the red Monty because I wasn't able to get my cleaner, my glass cleaner, through the front, so I ended up smashing off a pretty big chunk of that, fragging that up. And this guy here, my little colony of acros on the bottom glass, kind of top heavy to this side, and it keeps falling over, so I went in there and snipped off a bunch of that. You can see that it actually fell and kind of ate some of this coral here, or vice versa, it ate that instead. So yeah, this colony is kind of cool, but with the Lobo growing in the back, it's running out of room, and actually everything is kind of getting pretty tight here. My floating frag rock is now officially touching one of the colonies on the main structure there, so I got to get in there and get some fragging done on that. Basically, this video is going to be me going through saying, oh, I should probably frag that, I should probably frag that, but it's the truth. It's getting full. So, and I now that I look at the tank, that it's growing out again, I have no idea why I wanted 4 rock structures in the beginning. If you guys remember the very first grow out, there were 4 distinct rock structures kind of floating there, and yeah, it was packed then. I mean, man, I don't know why I wanted 4, but 3 is more than enough. I know in the beginning when you're first adding the rock, it's bare and it's like, oh my god, there's a ton of room. But once things start growing out, it fills the gaps pretty quickly. So speaking of kind of my rock structures or my coral colonies at the bottom, you can see that this acro has now officially become one with the bottom glass. So this little rock colony here has a couple different acros on it, as well as a stylophora. That's not going anywhere. That's pretty much glued to the bottom, as well as this guy here, pretty much glued to the bottom. The zoas are really taking over the bottom, and I actually like that, because when I want to kind of frag them out and sell them, they actually grow on top of the coralline algae. So when I get in there with my razor blade, it's attached to the coralline, and I can just simply break it off and put it on the frag plug. It works out pretty good. So you're getting coralline and a zoa frag at the same time. What's up, jerk? I know it's a little dark, but that's my attitude of a clownfish there, who likes to kill all the other clownfish. Outside of that, I did want to put one of my frog spawn in here, my neon green, and I don't have any room for it because this sweeper tentacles come all the way over and pretty much kill everything here. So I just put it on one of those 3D printed I guess it's like a frag rack, kind of little mini one. I have them on the website. I've sold a few of them, but they basically, this is a 1/2-inch glass, and it's just kind of sitting there chilling out. So I don't know if I'll keep it there, but for now it looks pretty good. Let's see here. Everybody is doing pretty well. I went to the fish store a couple days ago, and I saw a male Melanoris wrasse, because this is clearly a female given the coloration, and I was really tempted to buy another one, but I knew that I would never get her out of the tank, and the last time I had a pair of male and female, the female didn't make it, so I don't want to put in another wrasse. It was a little bit bigger than this one, and I didn't want to take a chance of her getting kind of bullied or killed in the process. So coloration isn't that great, but she is a workhorse, and if I ever do catch her, I'll just throw her in a frag tank, and then I'll go ahead and purchase a male. If you guys remember the male that I had before, I forgot his name, but he was a massive, very beautiful wrasse. But she does work. She's no slouch. And yeah, outside of that, fish aggression overall is pretty good. Big Blue had a little attitude. I don't know, he was going after the clownfish. I don't know what their deal was. I don't really speak Fishanese, so I don't really know what the problem was. It's not very common that a a tang will go after a clownfish, but given her personality and how aggressive she is, she's probably just going after him, and then he decided to turn the table. So that was pretty much the only conflict over the last few weeks. Outside of that, everything is fine. I did lose, I think I mentioned in a previous video, I did lose one of my Sergeant Major damsels, the big one. This is actually the baby of the version of them. And he ended up having a swim bladder issue. Not really sure why. I popped him in the quarantine tank, gave him some meds. Didn't have any flow in there, just kind of the aeration. He was okay for a few days, and then he passed. So usually the swim bladder stuff, if you catch it early and they don't get sucked into a power head, you can kind of take care of it most of the time. But yeah, he didn't make it, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to get more of them. And speaking of the fish store, I saw the monos. If you guys remember when I first set this up, I had monos in here, and it was tempting. I'm not gonna buy another one. I know you guys gave me shit about that for a while. So, but they were beautiful until they got really big and started killing themselves on the corals. But outside of that, I was really tempted to buy one because they're, you know, these little 1.5-inch silverfish that I know grow up to be pretty beautiful in general. So, but yeah, I didn't get it. So we don't have to worry about that. And I guess speaking of adding fish to this tank, I think I mentioned before I will be doing a few smaller ones, nothing too crazy, just because tangs and everything is set. I definitely don't plan on adding any more tangs, rabbitfish, or anything like that, because it doesn't take much to upset the balance of aggression in here, and I don't want to deal with the death. Especially a lot of these fish are relatively old, so I don't want to get a new guy on there who's going to start bullying and then end up losing some fish. So I will be adding some chromis, some damsels, maybe some more clownfish. There's a ton of little fish out there that will do well in this tank, just kind of adding some movement. But outside of that, when it comes to larger stuff, as well as eels, that's just not going to happen. A couple of you guys actually asked me a little while ago, do I ever plan on adding an eel to this tank or a future tank? And the answer to that is absolutely not. Eels are cool. They were cool in the beginning on the 125 and all that stuff with Reggie, but yeah, I'm not an eel fan, just because they are... they just like little fish, and I like little fish too, but they like to eat them, and I'm not a fan of that. So yeah, this guy's just chilling. He used to have a buddy, I don't know where he went, but yeah, I like a lot of little fish, and I don't want my guy getting chomped up, especially him. That's his house, though, by the way. That's the palizoas he likes to sleep in, and he feeds them as well, which is kind of cute. But yeah, overall the tank is doing pretty well. Water parameters are relatively stable. I did transition over all my media, which I'll do a video on. You guys will see that for my calcium reactor. I went back to Reborn. Took a couple days to adjust it, but everything is looking good. Phosphate levels are good. Nitrate levels are good. Magnesium is a little low. I got to get some. Even though I put the Reamag in the calcium reactor, it's just not enough, so I am going to dose that manually. I do that probably every 6 months, so I'll pick up some of that salt. Now, let's go to move over to the Frag tank. The Hyper Reef, I'll make this very quick. The Hyper Reef power supply died. I messaged the people that sent it through Night Crew, and they're like, yeah, it's no issue. We're going to send you out a new one. No worries. Thanks for letting us know. So that power supply will be here soon. I did double check by swapping the power supplies just to make sure the light wasn't dead, and it was fine. Basically, it was just cycling on and off, on and off, on and off, and basically indicating that the power supply was dying. Outside of that, I mean, the only thing that's really not getting a lot of light is my little NEM box here, but they're fine. They're still puffy and good to go. But there's a ton of coral, ton of frog spawn in here. Just, it's got to go. It really has to go. There's more candy cane than I know what to do with. So all that stuff, of course, is 50% off. Moving over here, this is kind of my SPS tank for the majority. I do have a couple zoos in here, but the most of it is SPS, and it is it's pretty full as well. I got to get in here and cut some of these bird's nest frags. So there is a point where you just kind of grow stuff so quickly that you just got to frag frags, and that's kind of where I'm at. So this is a bird's nest frag that's clearly not going to fit in the bag. So I'll have to frag that up. Can I get it? Yeah. So that's one piece, but I'm still not going to fit. So I'm going to have to frag it up a little bit more. And yeah, so I got to get in here and frag some frags later today. Of course, I mean, even some of this stuff, like this is. Yeah, I could probably fit that in the bag. Yeah, I could fit that in the bag, but that's a giant piece of digitata. This stuff just grows out of control, especially this easy SPS. This stuff is insane. And that's underneath a Kessel AP700 for those of you guys who are wondering. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the update. Hopefully I didn't ramble too long. I think I'm at like 10 minutes. But either way, guys, I appreciate all the support. As I mentioned before, 50% off. Use the code. It will be in the description as well as the comment section. And that's until July 15th. So with that being said, I appreciate all the support. Hopefully you guys had a safe holiday. No one's missing any fingers. And I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Peace.